I could see Goldberg saying, yeah, I will put over, Rick's kid, and then, get the young WWE talent and just have him put Goldberg over at the end with the raising the arm and the hug and the whole 9 yards. Because, man, you bring him in. I don't mind the idea with what's his face? Yeah, but what good does that do him if Goldberg goes over?
All right, let's talk about Goldberg. Goldberg has been training to get back into the ring. He announced it on a college game day segment a few months back during the college football season. And he talked about he had a match left in him, and he's working with WWE to come back in 2025. In your opinion, Vince, it doesn't seem like Gunther's going to be his opponent because people were just kind of theorizing Gunther versus Goldberg at WrestleMania. Of course, that's not going to happen anymore. Who would you have as Goldberg's opponent in this farewell tour? Since Cena's having a farewell tour, Goldberg's having a farewell match in 2025.
God, bro, it's got to be somebody that you're going to be assured that he's going to look good.
Yeah.
God, man.
Do you put that person over Goldberg, or do you have Goldberg win?
It just all depends on who that person is. You know what I mean?
I've got a name, and I'm interested in what you would think with this.
Let's hear it.
Bronson Reed.
God, you think Goldberg can have a good match with a big guy like that? I know Bronson Reed is great.
He's very agile.
I know he is, but
yeah. I think what you do, man, you have Goldberg come back. You have Goldberg have his speech. You have Bronson Reed come out and obliterate him, get him in a few splashes. You know what I mean? Then you have Goldberg be out for a few weeks or a month or something like that. Come back, spears Bronson Reed, but you have to have Bronson Reed like become a very, very strong heel during those times. Like, just completely nuke the crowd when it comes to drawing heat, because even with the tsunami splashes with the baby faces, we saw that he was getting cheered because of that, and people saying one more time. I think that he kind of would get cheered one more time, especially with for some odd reason, a lot of the online communities perspectives toward Goldberg, which is interesting and odd to me. But you give him the tsunamis, fans will cheer. Then you have Bronson Reed become a really, really strong heel. You have Goldberg come back, get his comeuppance, and then you have a big mega match, just kind of colossal match between Goldberg and Bronson Reed.
Bro, the only thing is, I'm just going on the Bill Goldberg that I knew, and I can't see him coming back for one last match and then losing, unless
I think Goldberg goes over Bronson Reed.
Goldberg. See, bro, how about this? Because here's another thing that you mentioned. Now, here's a way to get out of it, and everybody gets over. Bro, who's the guy doing the spear?
Reigns,
Braun Breaker. Okay. How you do it with Braun Breaker, because meanwhile you have Breaker go over and then raise the old arm at the end and do that whole thing, because I could see Goldberg doing that for the Steiners. You know what I'm saying? I could see Goldberg saying, yeah, I will put over, Rick's kid, and then, get the young WWE talent and just have him put Goldberg over at the end with the raising the arm and the hug and the whole 9 yards. Because, man, you bring him in. I don't mind the idea with what's his face? Yeah, but what good does that do him if Goldberg goes over?
Yeah, I mean that's a fair question. I think people would. I think he would still get a rub because he's the last match for Goldberg. Just like AJ Styles got the rub when he's the last match from The Undertaker. I think that you have that type of rub that you get as being like, if there's anybody who's going to I mean, to your point, it just depends on if Goldberg's willing to put someone over or if Goldberg is going to win the match. I think if I wouldn't want Goldberg to beat Braun Breaker, I wouldn't want him to do that. But if he's willing to put Braun Breaker over, sure, I'm with that. Yeah. But at the same time, if Goldberg, and you've worked with Goldberg before, there's been, a lot of talk throughout the years that, he can be a little stern when it comes to putting people over. And so when it comes to that, if he's still like, hey, I don't want to retire, watch the lights, I want to retire on top. I think the person who would really help him would be Bronson Reed. But if you want to make Goldberg look like the hero, though, another name you can throw in that could carry a really good match would be a Logan Paul.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Logan Paul is the heel among heels. There's not going to be any like with the Bronson Reed, you've got the tsunamis that's causing people to cheer. People can't stand Logan Paul. So again, if it goes back, like Logan Paul, I remember when Goldberg and Undertaker had that just debacle of a match, and Goldberg wanted to have a fresher, better, memory, for the fans. And then he had that SummerSlam match against Dolph Ziggler, and people were happy to see Goldberg back. And it was a plow through match, but it still had a better taste, with Goldberg. I think it just depends on who Goldberg, if he wants to put someone over or if he wants to go over. I think you have those options. So all three of those matches would be really interesting for us to see. So this guy right here, Vince Russo, Vince Russo. I love that. I'm Dr. Chris. This is Running with Russo. Have a good night, everybody. So long.